A millionaire, used to living in a world of luxury and superiority, decides to amuse himself by inviting his maid's young son to play a game of chess. To him, it is nothing more than a joke, a passing moment of entertainment where he expects to easily outsmart the boy. He believes his wealth and position make him untouchable, and the idea of playing with the child of someone who works for him only reinforces his sense of power. Yet beneath this arrogance lies a blindness to the truth. Intelligence, talent, and greatness are not defined by status or wealth, but by ability, discipline, and passion. What begins as a joke soon transforms into a humbling revelation that shatters his assumptions. The boy sits down at the chessboard, not intimidated by the millionaire's presence or wealth. With quiet confidence, he studies the board carefully, his mind already several steps ahead. Chess is not merely a game of pieces to him. It is a battlefield where strategy, patience, and intelligence reign supreme. The millionaire, on the other hand, sees it as a casual challenge, assuming that his age and status guarantee victory. He underestimates the boy before the first move is even made. As the game unfolds, it becomes clear that the boy is no ordinary player. He anticipates moves far in advance, traps the millionaire in strategies he cannot escape, and plays with the precision of a seasoned champion. Every move the boy makes shakes the millionaire's confidence. The laughter he once held at the thought of mocking the child turns into silence as he realizes he is being outplayed. His wealth and arrogance cannot save him on this chessboard. Here, only skill matters. The deeper meaning of this encounter lies not only in the boy's genius, but in the lesson it teaches about humility and respect. The millionaire learns that mocking someone based on their background or status reveals more about his own character than theirs. The maid's son, someone he considered insignificant, demonstrates intelligence far beyond his own. The millionaire begins to see that true greatness can come from unexpected places, and that people often carry gifts hidden beneath humble appearances. The boy's victory is not just about winning a game of chess, but about breaking barriers. He represents the untapped potential that exists in those often overlooked by society. His brilliance challenges the notion that wealth equals superiority and shows that intelligence and talent can be found anywhere, regardless of one's background. The millionaire, through his defeat, is forced to confront the limits of his pride and the danger of underestimating others. For the boy, this moment is more than just proving his skill. It is about claiming dignity and respect. He shows that being the child of a maid does not diminish his worth. His victory gives voice to all who have been underestimated, reminding the world that labels and stereotypes cannot define human potential. The millionaire's mansion, wealth, and influence fade into the background as the spotlight shifts to the brilliance of a child once dismissed. This story carries a timeless lesson: arrogance blinds, while respect enlightens. The millionaire walked into the game thinking of it as a joke, but he left it having learned that mocking others only exposes one's ignorance. The boy's genius transformed what could have been a trivial moment into a powerful reminder that respect should be given to all, no matter their position in life. The game of chess became more than a match. It became a symbol of justice, humility, and the triumph of hidden talent. In the end, the millionaire walked away humbled, his pride shaken but his perspective broadened. The boy's mother, the maid, likely carried herself with quiet pride, knowing that her son had shown the world the depth of his intelligence. This moment reminds us that greatness has no boundaries and that underestimating others only sets the stage for one's own downfall. True wisdom lies in treating everyone with dignity, for we never know where genius may lie. Arrogance has a way of blinding people to the truth that lies right in front of them, and this story is a perfect example of how underestimating others can lead to one's own downfall. The millionaire, in his world of privilege, believed that inviting his maid's son to play chess would be a harmless joke. To him, it was not really about the game, but about entertaining himself and perhaps showing off how easily he could outwit a child. His wealth and position gave him a false sense of superiority, one that made him view others, especially those in lower positions, as beneath him. The very act of turning a chess game into a mockery reflects the arrogance that comes from confusing social status with personal worth. When he looked at the boy, he saw only the son of a maid, someone who in his eyes could not possibly have the intelligence, discipline, or skill to challenge him. This assumption was rooted in prejudice, not in reality. Arrogance often creates a lens through which people fail to see the truth, because they are so focused on reinforcing their own pride. The millionaire assumed that his money and influence automatically made him smarter, stronger, and more capable than those around him. This was his mistake. Chess, however, is not a game that bends to wealth or influence. It is a game of pure intellect, strategy, and foresight. The boy's background had no bearing on his ability to think several moves ahead, to see traps where others see opportunities, and to outwit his opponent. The millionaire, entering the game with pride rather than respect, underestimated the depth of the challenge he was about to face. His arrogance blinded him to the possibility that the boy might be far more skilled than he imagined. As the match began, every move the boy made slowly chipped away at the millionaire's confidence. At first, he may have dismissed the child's skill as luck, still holding on to his arrogance. But as the board unfolded, the reality became harder to deny. Each move revealed the boy's understanding of the game, his patience, and his foresight. The millionaire, who thought he would dominate, began to realize that he was outmatched. This realization was not just about losing a game, but about confronting the weakness of his own assumptions. Arrogance often makes people blind to the abilities of others. By underestimating the boy, the millionaire revealed more about his own ignorance than about the boy's background. His mistake was not simply losing a game of chess. It was failing to recognize that talent, intelligence, and genius know no boundaries of wealth or status. The boy's brilliance existed regardless of who his mother was or what position she held. The millionaire's arrogance had made him deaf to this truth, until he was forced to face it directly on the chessboard. The story shows how arrogance not only underestimates others, but also weakens the one who holds it. The millionaire entered the game unprepared, thinking it would be easy, while the boy approached it with focus and skill. By dismissing his opponent, he failed to prepare himself and ultimately lost more than just a match. He lost the illusion of superiority that arrogance had given him. His defeat was not just on the board but within his pride. This lesson reminds us that arrogance always comes before a fall. When we underestimate others based on appearances, background, or status, we risk being blindsided by the greatness that lies hidden within them. The millionaire's arrogance was his downfall, while the boy's quiet confidence and preparation led to triumph. In the end, the joke turned back on the millionaire, teaching him that no one should ever be mocked or dismissed, because true strength often lies where we least expect it. The boy's hidden brilliance is the heart of this story, and it is what transforms a simple game of chess into a powerful life lesson. When the millionaire first invited the maid's son to play, he saw only a child who came from a modest background. In his mind, the boy's world was defined by limitations, by the shadow of his mother's work as a maid, and by the assumption that someone of his age and position could not possess any extraordinary talent. What the millionaire failed to recognize was that brilliance often hides in unexpected places, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. As the boy sat down at the chessboard, he carried himself not with arrogance but with quiet confidence. He did not need wealth, status, or the trappings of privilege to prove his worth. His mind was his greatest weapon. Chess is a game of patience, strategy, and foresight, and the boy had mastered it far beyond what his young age suggested. While the millionaire likely expected hesitation or clumsy mistakes, he instead found himself facing an opponent who seemed to anticipate his every move. The beauty of hidden brilliance is that it often thrives in silence, away from the attention of the world. The boy likely spent hours studying the game, practicing strategies, and challenging himself in ways no one expected. His mother may not have had wealth to provide him with luxuries, but she gave him values, discipline, and the encouragement to use his mind as his greatest tool. This unseen preparation became his advantage. By the time he sat across from the millionaire, he was not just a child playing for amusement. He was a strategist ready to prove his mastery. Each move he made was deliberate, a reflection of not only intelligence but also maturity. Brilliance, when hidden, often catches others by surprise, and that surprise is what shook the millionaire most. He had expected laughter and entertainment, but instead, he found himself silenced by the skill of a child he had underestimated. The boy's brilliance turned the power dynamic upside down. The wealthy man who thought himself superior was humbled, while the maid's son rose to command respect. This hidden brilliance is symbolic of the potential that lies within so many people who are overlooked or dismissed because of their background, race, age, or social status. Society often assumes that greatness is reserved for the privileged, but true genius can be found anywhere. The boy represents that truth, that brilliance is not bound by wealth or position, but by determination, discipline, and passion. His victory over the millionaire is not only personal, but universal, a reminder that hidden talents are waiting to be acknowledged in places where people least expect them. The boy's genius also reflects the idea that preparation meets opportunity. When the millionaire invited him, it was not meant as an honor but as mockery. Yet the boy seized the opportunity to let his skills shine. His brilliance, hidden until that moment, came alive under pressure, proving that when preparation meets challenge, greatness emerges. The millionaire's arrogance created the stage, but it was the boy's hidden brilliance that stole the show. What makes this story even more powerful is the humility with which the boy carried his talent. He did not boast, nor did he approach the game with the intention to humiliate. His focus was on the board, the strategies, and the game itself. That calmness is the mark of true brilliance. It does not need to scream for attention because its power speaks through action. Every piece he moved, every trap he set, and every victory he claimed was a silent declaration of his worth. In the end, the millionaire could no longer see him as just a maid's son. The boy's brilliance forced him to view the child not through the lens of status, but through the undeniable truth of his genius. The hidden brilliance that once went unnoticed had now been revealed in a way that could not be ignored. It left the millionaire speechless, humbled, and forever changed. This teaches us that brilliance is everywhere, often hidden behind humble appearances. It may not always be visible, but when the moment comes, it shines brighter than wealth, louder than arrogance, and stronger than prejudice. The boy's hidden brilliance was not just about winning a chess match. It was about revealing the limitless potential that exists in every human being, waiting for the world to see it. Humility and respect form the core of the lesson that unfolds in this story, and they shine most clearly when the millionaire is forced to confront the reality of the boy's genius. At the start, the millionaire lacked both qualities. He approached the chess game with arrogance, convinced that his wealth, age, and experience placed him above the maid's son. By treating the game as a joke, he revealed how little respect he had for the boy or for the abilities of someone from a background different than his own. Yet life has a way of humbling those who let pride guide their actions, and as the boy demonstrated his skill, the millionaire experienced a shift he could not have anticipated. Humility is often born in moments when one's assumptions are shattered. For the millionaire, every move the boy made on the chessboard was a strike against his pride. He began the match believing it would be an easy win, but with each passing turn, it became obvious that he was the one being outplayed. Losing to someone he considered beneath him forced him to look at himself honestly. It reminded him that wealth does not equal wisdom, and status does not guarantee superiority. True humility begins when one realizes that value lies in character, discipline, and skill, not in material possessions. Respect, too, came slowly into the millionaire's perspective. In the beginning, he had no respect for the boy. The invitation to play was rooted in mockery rather than sincerity. But as the game progressed, respect was demanded. Not through words, but through the undeniable brilliance of the child's play. Every strategy, every trap, every victory on the board forced the millionaire to look at the boy with new eyes. The maid's son was no longer just a child. He was a chess player of remarkable ability, deserving of recognition and admiration. Humility also transforms the way people treat others. For the millionaire, this game became more than just a surprise defeat. It was a moment that reshaped his view of those he had once dismissed. To be humbled by a child is a unique experience because it strips away layers of pride and forces a person to see the world with simplicity and honesty. The boy had no wealth to his name, no fancy title, no social influence. Yet in that moment, he held power over the millionaire, not through arrogance but through pure skill. Respect is born in such moments when truth can no longer be ignored. For the boy, humility was already present. Despite his genius, he did not walk into the game seeking to boast or belittle. He carried himself with quiet dignity, focused not on proving the millionaire wrong, but on playing the game he loved. His humility made his brilliance shine even brighter. It was not arrogance that drove him, but dedication and respect for the game itself. This contrast between the boy's natural humility and the millionaire's initial arrogance highlights the transformative power of respect. The millionaire's lesson is one that resonates universally. Respect must be given to all, regardless of their background, age, or social position. When humility is absent, people close themselves off to the wisdom and talents of others. But when humility is embraced, it allows respect to grow, and respect creates connection. By the end of the game, the millionaire could no longer see the boy as insignificant. He saw him as a genius, someone whose intelligence had earned his admiration. This transformation is why humility and respect matter so deeply. They remind us that no one is too great to be humbled, and no one is too small to be respected. Arrogance isolates people, but humility unites them. Respect builds bridges that pride would otherwise burn. The millionaire's journey from mockery to admiration shows how powerful these qualities can be in breaking down barriers of class and status. Ultimately, humility and respect are not weaknesses but strengths. They allow people to see the world clearly, to value others for who they are, and to learn lessons from the most unexpected sources. The millionaire's defeat at the chessboard became his victory in life because it taught him humility and respect, lessons far more valuable than wealth. The boy's quiet genius was the spark that ignited this transformation, proving once again that true greatness is measured not in possessions, but in the way we treat others. The transformative power of knowledge is at the heart of this story, and it shines through most clearly in the way the Maid's son completely changes the millionaire's perception of intelligence and success. When the millionaire invited the boy to play chess, it was done as true genius often emerges from the most unexpected places, and this story captures that reality perfectly. The millionaire, certain of his superiority, never imagined that the son of his maid could possess extraordinary talent. His view of the world was shaped by status, wealth, and influence, but genius is not confined by any of those boundaries. The moment the boy began to demonstrate his skills on the chessboard, it became clear that brilliance can exist in any environment, whether in a palace or in a modest home. This moment reminds us that labels, stereotypes, and social roles are poor indicators of a person's true abilities. The boy's genius was not only about his ability to move chess pieces strategically, but about his vision, patience, and the quiet confidence with which he approached the game. While the millionaire may have been fueled by ego and the need to prove himself superior, the boy was guided by pure intellect and love for the game. His knowledge had been cultivated not by wealth or privilege, but by passion, practice, and natural gift. That made his genius even more remarkable, because it broke through the boundaries society tried to place around him. When the millionaire realized he was not just playing against a child, but against a mind sharper than his own, his arrogance gave way to humility. That shift came from the undeniable truth of the boy's brilliance. This encounter highlights how genius often humbles those who think they cannot be challenged. The millionaire may have thought his education, resources, and worldly experience made him untouchable in a game of intellect, but the boy's natural talent overturned every assumption. In that moment, the millionaire, and everyone who might have been watching, was forced to confront the reality that greatness is not exclusive to those with privilege. This also shows the universal nature of human potential. The maid's son was not supposed to be a genius in the eyes of society. He was not supposed to outshine someone rich, powerful, and influential. Yet, he did. His victory reveals a deep truth about life, that human brilliance, creativity, and intelligence cannot be measured by wealth or social status. It can spring forth in anyone, at any time, if nurtured and expressed. Often, those who are overlooked or underestimated are the very ones who carry extraordinary gifts within them. What makes this point so powerful is that it inspires us to look beyond appearances and positions. How many geniuses are hidden in plain sight because society dismisses them? How many people are denied opportunities because of where they come from, what they look like, or what their families do for a living? The maid's son symbolizes all those unseen talents waiting for a chance to shine. His victory over the millionaire was not just a win in a game, but a statement that genius belongs to everyone, regardless of background. In the end, the boy's triumph becomes a life-changing lesson for the millionaire and for anyone who hears this story. The game of chess becomes a metaphor for life itself. It is not about the status of the players, but about their skill, knowledge, and ability to think ahead. The millionaire learned that genius cannot be mocked or underestimated, and the boy proved that his brilliance was real and undeniable. The fact that such talent came from a child in such humble circumstances only made it more extraordinary, driving home the truth that greatness does not need permission to exist. It simply reveals itself when the time is right.